It makes me very happy. I can't actually do this part, though. It goes too high for me. It's pride.
You got that.
You need the readings given out?
I just did. Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Oh, I think the air just went off, but I'm not positive. Marsh. What time do you have? Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. We'd love to invite you to find your seats. I'm also happy to share with one person my shawl. If you are the lucky one and freezing cold, let me know. And we're going to bring in Shabbat together. Hello to our friends that are with us still streaming from home. And hello to those who are in the sanctuary. It's so nice to see you.
The sun is going down. It's shining through the trees. Another week's gone by, become a memory. So put away your hammer, there's nothing left to do. Come inside and find the gift that's waiting here for you. Oh, it's time to say good Shabbos, 'cause all your work is done. Gonna spend the day together with the Holy One. Make a special blessing on a cup that's filled with wine. Man and his creator, it's a very special sign. Your candles will be burning, filling your homes with light, singing songs of Shabbos far into the night. So put away your hammer, there's nothing left to do. When you're home, you'll find the gift that's waiting there for you. Oh, it's time to say good Shabbos, 'cause all your work is done. Gonna spend the day together with the Holy One. Make a special blessing on a cup that's filled with wine. Man and his creator, it's a very special sign.
We pause at this time in our service to remember with reverence the yardsides of our beloved departed that are observed today, which is the 8th day of Elul. Joseph Ackman, Molly H. Alliker, Aaron Beckerman, Herbert Bergender Jr., Katie Dubik, Mary Eisenman, Sophie Goldberg, Louis Mazer, Rhoda Mendelson, Mayor Ment, Anna Esther Rosenzweig, Alvin Rubenstein, Meyer Rabinowitz, Helen Schwartz, Melvin Wax, Marion Schwartz, Marion Schwartz, Zelda C. Wagenheim, Susan Weinstein, Priscilla Wolf, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. May all of their memories forever bring blessings into our lives. and may their memories always inspire us from the heavens above. Will all of those people who are in a period of mourning or observing a yahrzeit please join me in the Mourner's Kaddish, which you can find on page 124. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemer Abba.
Amen.
V'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayei chon u'v'yomei chon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimeru. Amen. Yehei shmei rab al-mavarach le'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemeda kudesha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'yimeru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehesh lama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru.
Amen.
Amen. May your loved ones' memories be a blessing. We turn now back in our Siddur to page 38 for Lecha Dodi.
Lecha dodi, likrat kala, ne Shabbat nikabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, ne Shabbat nikabla. Shamol bizakol bidibor echad, ishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, leshem ultiferet velitehila. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, ne Shabbat nikabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, ne Shabbat nikabla. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekol habracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maseh b'machshava tequila. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, ne Shabbat nikabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, ne Shabbat nikabla. Mikdash melech ir melucha, Komitzi mitolcha hafecha. Rav lak shevet ve'yemek habaka, ve'hu yakmol alayik kemla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, ne Shabbat nikabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, ne Shabbat nikabla.
We rise and we turn to page 40, concluding with the final stanza.
Bo'i v'shalom ateret vala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzala. Toch emone סגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, לקראת כלה, נשמה נקבלה, נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, לקראת כלה, נשמה נקבלה, נקבלה.
We pause at this time as we extend our condolences to those of our members who have been bereaved over the past week. This week, we extend our condolences to the family of the late Philip Bass, to the family of the late Richard Davison, and to the family of the late Gilda Lessons. Please join me at the bottom of page 41 as we extend our formal condolences, consoling our mourners. Hamakom yinachem etchem b'toch sha'ar avalei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May the Holy One who comforts Israel grant you solace in your bereavement. We continue turning to page 50 for the Barchu.
Barechu et Adonai Hamamolach.
Baruch Adonai Hamilchot le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamilchot le'olam va'ed.
Everyone may be seated. We turn now to page 51 as I invite Leslie Billion to come forward and to lead us in a responsive reading.
Thank you. Right over here? Okay. O Lord, your word brings on the evening twilight. The heavens proclaim your glory.
And we, your creatures on earth, behold in wonder your endless miracles.
Help us to recognize your guiding power in distant galaxies and in our own souls.
Teach us your law of righteousness and love, so that your Spirit may govern our lives.
Source of peace, bless our worship. May our meditations find favor in your sight.
May our gratitude for your wonders lead us in love to your service.
So that like the changing seasons, the days, the nights, our lives too will proclaim your glory. Amen.
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 Thank you.
Umavidiom umevilayla, umavdil ben yom uben layla, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Elkai v'kayam, Tamid yimlok aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Amari v'aravi.
Page 52.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu B'shofenu u'bekumenu נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ועורק ימינו, ובהם נגד נפשך, אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך, בכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, ושרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וטבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Continuing on page 56.
והיה
And we join together in the middle of page 57. Therefore, keep these words of mine in your heart and in your soul. Bind them as a sign upon your arm, and let them be a reminder above your eyes. Teach them to your children, speaking of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down at night and when you rise up in the morning. Write them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Thus your days and the days of your children will be multiplied on the land which the Lord promised to your ancestors for as long as the heavens remain over the earth. Continuing on page 58.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דוד. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Turning to the middle of page 60.
ומלכותו בלחסון, קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל, לכאן ושירה, בשמחה רבה ימלאו כולם. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדל בקודש, תורת היא לא תוסף אלה, תורת היא לא תוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, וכהים לפני משה. זה לי ענו ואמרו, זה לי ענו ואמרו. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגדו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We turn to page 63 as Howard comes forward to lead us in our responsive reading.
You have the floor.
Thank you. Where are we on, 63?
Yeah, perfect.
responsive?
Yeah.
Okay. 63 in English.
Yeah.
Help us, O God, to lie down in peace, but teach us that peace means more than quiet.
Remind us that if we are to be at peace at night, we must take heed of how we live by day.
Grant us the peace that comes from honest dealing, so that no fear of discovery will haunt our sleep.
Rid us of resentments and hatreds which rob us of the peace we crave.
Liberate us from enslaving habits which disturb us and give us no rest.
May we inflict no pain, bring no shame, and seek no profit from another's loss.
May we so live that we can face the world with serenity and with grace.
May we feel no remorse at night for what we have done during the day.
May we lie down in peace tonight and awaken tomorrow to a richer and fuller life.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. My English should be that good.
ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך Baruch atah Adonai, hapore sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, hapore sukat shalom. עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
64.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לאסוף את השבת לדורותם מריץ עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם מריץ עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמד יוודע קלותיה וימליך מלכותיה, בחיי קון וביום יקון, ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. לכולי אלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן.
We rise rise for the Amidah, which is recited quietly on Shabbat evening. And the Amidah starts on page 69 and continues through page 76 in Hebrew or in English. Page 69, quiet prayer.
Shalom Yisrael Amcha ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Shalom Yisrael Amcha asim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון, לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם.
We're seated and we turn to page 80 for Vayachulu Hashemayim.
ויכולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויקל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויזבוד ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
Page 82.
ברוך Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור, הנורא, העליון, קונה שמיים וארץ. מגן אבות בדברו, מקיים מתים במאמרו, האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו. ביום שבת קודשו, כי בם רצה להניח להם, כי בם רצה להניח להם, לפניו לעבוד ביראה ופקד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד, מעין הברכות. אל ההודעות, אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה, לעמד ושני עונג, זכר למעשה בראשית. יתקלל ויתקדש שם רבה, ילמד יברא כנותיהם נקמלכותיהם, וכיכולנו במקולנו וכירו בישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך, לעולם עולם ועלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתברך ויתברך ויתעשה ויתדע ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה ולכו לאל אבין כל ברכתה ושירתה ושבחתה ונקמתה דמינן מעלמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל תלות הון ובת הון כל ישראל קדם והון ושמיים ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיים וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen.
We now turn to page 90 and we rise for Kiddush, which will be led tonight by Fred Cohen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kadsho b'havav ratzon hinchi lanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, אותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Isha Shabbat.
Beautiful. You may be seated.
That's a tough act to follow. Really. Beautifully done, Fred. Just think for a second about how is a Torah portion named? So how do we name it? Every Torah portion has a name. Yes. Generally, yeah, one of the first unusual words in the first verse of the portion of the week becomes the name of the portion. You wouldn't name the portion Vayidaber because that comes up over and over and over and over again. But a word that's slightly unusual, and it's in the first verse. Might be the first word, might not. This week's Torah portion happens to be the first two words. This week's Torah portion is Ki Teitzei. So the first verse, Ki Teitzei el milchama al oivecha. Okay, so Ki Teitzei means when you go out. For milchama, for war. Al oivecha, meaning against your enemies. When you go out for, and so Ki Teitzei becomes the name of the Torah portion, when you go out for war. And what follows in the Parsha is a series of laws about how you're supposed to conduct yourself in a war. It begins with a series of laws that are troubling to us, particularly today, certainly in a modern context, because it deals with when you capture a slave in the course of battle and you bring the slave into your home. And it starts with you capture a woman who becomes a slave, and then you end up, as the person who owns the slave, having an interest in marrying the woman. It's very troubling material, although my sense of it is the intention originally was to, in a way, protect those who were slaves, right? That there was the Torah wasn't going to say you can't have slaves. Maybe felt culture back 3,000 years ago wasn't ready for that move, but at least to say if you're going to have slaves, they have to be treated with a certain amount of respect, certain amount of dignity, and the Torah was sort of trying to push that agenda forward, you know. So it's just interesting to me, you know, how it happens that when we have something in the Torah portion, you kind of look around what's happening in the country, and there's some kind of resonance there. There's some kind of resonance there. So I don't know if you're aware, but Monday will be the 28th of August, right? Is that correct? Yeah, 28th of August. So that will mark 60 years since the March on Washington. 60 years since the March on Washington, called the full name. Anyone remember the full name? March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom was what it was called. So about 250,000 people marched on Washington on August 28th, 1963. And of course, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King gave one of the most famous speeches in all of American history, and arguably one of the most famous speeches of all time, talking about human rights, human dignity, human freedom, what that meant, how the black community was struggling and striving for that, how difficult it was to struggle and strive for that back in the 60s. And we stand here today, 60 years later, 60th anniversary of that day, and we know that some progress has been made, but more progress needs to be made. And it's also interesting to me that here's the Torah with Ki Teitzei L'Milchama, right? You're going out for war. You're going out for war. And in a way, I think, you know, Martin Luther King understood that he was trying to lead the black community forward, and it was a war. You know, it wasn't a physical war. It wasn't going to be a battle with weapons and those kinds of things. It was a war of the spirit, a war of the heart, a war of the soul, and that's the way he fought that war. You know, that was intentional, and you'll remember that he was committed to the idea of nonviolent protest, right? It was very important in terms of how he understood what he was trying to do. Gandhi along the same lines, you know, there's a connection there as well. And this idea of nonviolent protest, but speaking with force and power, again, from the spirit, from the heart, from the soul. And why do you do that? You can do that because you know you're right. And when you know you're right, then you can speak in that kind of voice, in that kind of way, with that kind of power. And that's why those words still resonate today the same way they did, and maybe even more profoundly than they did 60 years ago. So it's a time, I think, to reflect on what it means to speak out with power, to speak out for what's right, for what's true, to remember what that means, and to understand in our culture, where all too often when we're at odds with other people, we get hostile, you know, but to think about being at odds with someone else, but to do it with this idea of nonviolence in our minds, to talk to the other person, even if we don't agree with them, with dignity, with respect, and to try together to build a world of freedom for all. Shalom Rav, right? Shalom Rav for all, a world freedom for all and peace. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We turn now to page 118, and we rise for Alinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עצרנו כאויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגול עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגבהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אינו דם את מלכנו אפס הולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד.
Continuing on page 120, quietly.
ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We pause at this time in our service to remember with reverence those of our beloved departed whose yahrzeits are observed tonight through tomorrow night, which is the 9th day of Elul. William Bartonez, Mark Bukowski, Mary L. Blaustein, Howard Chernick, Louis Craven, Wilford Dopkin, Gerson Dorman, Sylvia Height-Kogan, Sheldon Heimson, Shirley Klein, Irvin Lazinski, Emmanuel Levy, William Lindner, Mark Perloff, Shelley B. Pinkner, and Simon Skurnick. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may all of their memories always be a blessing. And will those people who are in a period of mourning or observing a yahrzeit please rise and join me in the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish, which you can find on page 124. Yikadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yerutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimaru amen. Yehei shmei Rab amavarach le'olamo me'olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemeda kudesha brechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'yimaru, amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru, amen. Osez shalom b'mromav, huya asez shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru, amen. May your loved ones' memories be a blessing. A few announcements before we conclude our services. Our announcements are tomorrow morning services will be at 10 o'clock here in the Gorn Chapel, tomorrow evening 7:45 online. Tomorrow morning you can find 2 opportunities to study Torah if you are inclined. It's a beautiful time to begin the month of Elul. If you are inclined to come to a Parsha study, you can find the weekly Torah portion study online on Zoom through our website. Or if you want to come to study the book of Judges from the book of Prophets, you can join us tomorrow at 9 o'clock also in person in the Sonia and Jerry Baum boardroom upstairs. Also, just a reminder, Sunday services are 9:15 and 5:30. And I will wish everyone Shabbat Shalom. We're going to conclude our service on page 16 with Shalom Aleichem.
A couple of weeks ago, I had the pleasure of going up to Connecticut, where my family lives, and I was able to go out on a boat with my brother, a brand new boat that he just bought. Actually, it was not brand new. It was given to him for free. It was lying in someone's backyard. He's a mechanic, so he fixed it up and took us all out, including Ovadia and Shira, which was a lot of fun. So if you haven't had the opportunity to get out on a boat yet this summer, you still have a little bit of time left. So do it. It's worth it. Shalom Aleichem Malkei Hasharet, Malkei Elyon, Mimelech Malkei Hamlakim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bohem Leshalom, Malkei HaShalom, Malkei Elyon, Malkei Elyon, Mimelech Malkei Hamlakim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barkuni Leshalom, Malkei HaShalom, Malkei Elyon, Malkei Elyon, Mimelech Malkei Hamlakim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Seitchem Leshalom, Malkei HaShalom, Malkei Elyon, Malkei Elyon, Mimelech Malkei Hamlakim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom.
What a fun time.
I know this to like swimming in a swimming pool.
You guys will appreciate this.
Yeah.
Well, you will. So I was bad, but I think he's sure. He's green ball with my friend there. And somewhere at this time of the college. And it was a classic case of the tide goes out and you're not wearing anything because I was wearing the same cottage. And it's a city shul and there were about 30 people. But I did pretty well, you know.
Love. You got it.
How were the kids? You saw it getting
So
off.
good,
Your
so
daughter came
good.
back.
Noah's back.
Everything
He's
was good?
David. He's back in Jerusalem, walking the streets of the old city and so happy. And Noah's just finished her first round of 2 colleges with 14 more to go.
Oh my God.
You know.
16?
Jews aren't getting it anywhere, so you have to apply everywhere.
Thank God there's Brandeis. Rabbi Schwartz, regular.
Robbie went there too. Yeah, so 16.